What if I told you the Golden State Warriors are on the edge of making a decision that could impact not just their current season, but reshape the entire future of the franchise? What if I told you that one of the most explosive young players to ever wear the blue and gold might be living his final days in that jersey? For a team known for making cold and calculated moves, this might be the most sensitive decision since the rise of Stephen Curry. The Warriors' history is filled with turning points that have redefined their identity. Years ago, they were known more for inconsistency, failed trades, and constantly living in the shadow of bigger market teams. That narrative began to shift in the early 2010s. One of the most pivotal decisions was trading Monta Ellis, the team's most beloved player, for Milwaukee center Andrew Bogut, a deal many fans initially disliked. At the time, Bogut was seen as an average return, but that move laid the foundation for a team that would soon dominate the league, winning 4 championships and revolutionizing the way basketball is played. And the smart moves didn't stop there. When Kevin Durant left after the 2019 NBA Finals, the Warriors didn't panic. Instead, they used the opportunity to bring in D'Angelo Russell, who was later flipped for Andrew Wiggins and a draft pick that became Jonathan Kuminga. That trade was another example of long-term vision guiding every step. Every player who leaves and everyone that arrives doesn't just shape the team's present, it shapes the entire future. Now, Jonathan Kuminga is back in the spotlight. This young forward, known for his rare athleticism and bursts of brilliance, is finally having a season that could mark his true breakthrough in the league. After bouncing between limited minutes and highlight-worthy games, he seemed to find his spot in Steve Kerr's rotation, putting up averages of 16.8 points, 5 rebounds, and more than 2 assists per game. But it's not just about stats, it's about his influence on the court. Kuminga brought energy, versatility, and defensive hustle that often shifted the momentum of games. Still, things took an unexpected turn. In February, the Warriors went all in by acquiring Jimmy Butler. That single move reignited the team's ambitions and reshaped the rotation almost overnight. With Butler's arrival, the Warriors went on their best run of the season, posting an impressive 23-9 record. Butler's fit with the team was immediate. He complemented Stephen Curry perfectly, strengthened the defense, and pushed the Warriors' ceiling higher. However, every decision comes with a cost, and Kuminga was the one who paid the price. His minutes began to drop significantly. From playing over 26 minutes a game, he suddenly found himself on the court for less than 18. Over the last 7 games, his average dropped to just 17.9 minutes per game, his lowest since his rookie season. The breaking point came during a game against the Los Angeles Clippers. While Curry and Butler combined for 66 electrifying points, Kuminga didn't play a single minute. The message was clear, even if unspoken. After the game, Steve Kerr addressed the situation directly. He explained that fitting Kuminga alongside Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler was tactically difficult. The lack of spacing made it tough to use all 3 effectively, and Kerr had to prioritize lineups that produced wins. It was a cold, calculated decision, one that triggered immediate rumors. That's when the Brooklyn Nets name resurfaced as a possible trade destination. The Nets are going through a rebuild, but they have young talent, a strong collection of draft picks, 4 first-rounders in 2025 alone, and a pressing need to turn potential into competitiveness. For Kuminga, joining Brooklyn would mean more than just a new jersey. It would offer a real opportunity to be a centerpiece, a chance to grow, lead, and finally play a major role in a team building for the future. Brooklyn's interest in Kuminga isn't new. Even before last year's trade deadline, there were whispers about his struggles in Golden State and the failure to reach a contract extension. Without a new deal in place, A split between the two sides seemed inevitable. Butler's arrival simply sped up that process. Golden State's financial situation also adds pressure. With Curry, Butler, and Green set to earn over $137 million next season, keeping Kuminga would be nearly impossible, especially with teams like Brooklyn ready to offer aggressive contracts as soon as free agency begins. But this situation isn't only about money or fit. It's about opportunity. Kuminga wants to prove his worth. He wants the chance to develop, to lead, and to show he's more than a bench player in a veteran-heavy lineup. For the Warriors, the math is simple but painful. They can gamble on Kuminga's growth and risk losing him for nothing, or trade him now and turn his value into assets that support their championship window with Curry, Butler, and Green. For Brooklyn, the move is obvious. They get a high-upside talent who still hasn't reached his peak, with the athleticism to adapt to almost any system, and the motivation to prove he belongs among the league's best. Imagine being a Warriors fan, watching Kuminga shine for another team, playing big minutes, leading a young core, while your team struggles with aging stars. Or picture the opposite. Kuminga stays, adapts, and becomes the missing piece in another title run. Which version do you prefer? This is the kind of dilemma that makes the NBA so fascinating. The line between chasing another championship and building for the future is razor thin and often unforgiving. Now, let me ask you this. If you were the Warriors' general manager, what would you do? Would you commit to Kuminga's future or make the practical choice and trade him while his value is high? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is only just beginning. But what if I told you the Warriors might be facing a second decision just as critical? One that could not only shape the franchise's future, but also define Stephen Curry's legacy. After a decade filled with championships and iconic playoff moments, Golden State may now be forced to choose between keeping their competitive edge or watching it slip away. And once again, all signs point to one name: Zach LaVine. The final buzzer in the recent loss to the Clippers wasn't just about another defeat. It sounded like a warning. Even with Jimmy Butler on board, the Warriors still haven't found the consistency or balance they need to make deep playoff runs or compete with rising Western Conference powerhouses. Right now, they're hanging on to a play-in spot. Without significant changes, the front office knows the team could get stuck in a dangerous middle ground. Good enough to compete, but not good enough to win. That's not acceptable for a franchise that built its name on dynasties. Since Butler arrived and reignited the team's energy, it was clear the Warriors had made a rare move, injecting fresh life into the squad without sacrificing veteran experience. But even with his impact, the roster's flaws became hard to ignore. And that brings Kuminga's story to a dramatic crossroads. Drafted in 2021 as part of the post-Curry transition plan, Kuminga was once viewed as the bridge between eras. He has elite athleticism, smooth footwork, and potential on both ends of the floor. But his development didn't meet expectations. After Butler's arrival, Kuminga lost his spot in the rotation, and lineups with him, Butler, and Green simply didn't work. Meanwhile, just down the road in Sacramento, another name was gaining traction: Zach LaVine. Formerly of the Chicago Bulls, LaVine had finally escaped a franchise stuck in an endless rebuild. After a multi-team trade, he landed with the Kings. In Chicago, LaVine showed flashes of greatness, but the system around him always held him back. With Sacramento, he finally had the platform to shine. In just 31 regular season games, LaVine averaged 22.6 points on 51% shooting, including a scorching 44% from three. His performance helped the Kings lock in a play-in spot, despite the usual ups and downs of a team still building. But here's what most haven't noticed. Sacramento may not see LaVine as their long-term piece. At 29, he's in his prime. But with young talent and valuable draft picks, the Kings could flip him now while his value is high. And that's where Golden State comes in. For the Warriors, LaVine represents the third star they've been missing. A dynamic scorer who can relieve pressure from Curry, especially during the playoffs. He fits perfectly into their offensive system and brings the high-volume scoring they've lacked since Kevin Durant left. If this trade happens, Kuminga is likely the centerpiece of the deal. Young, athletic, and full of potential, he fits Sacramento's profile. The trade would allow Golden State to maximize their short-term title hopes, while the Kings solidify their future. It's a classic NBA question. Build for tomorrow or go all in on today. The Warriors, with their core aging fast, must think about the present. The Kings can afford to plan for the long haul. Kuminga could be that spark. And again, finances play a key role. With Curry, Butler, and Green already set to make over $137 million next year, re-signing Kuminga may not be realistic. The Kings, with more cap space and interest in young players, could make a move before losing LaVine for nothing. So, as the summer of 2025 approaches, the stage is set for another major shift. The Warriors' next move could determine whether their championship window stays open or shuts completely. So, if you had the final say, would you trade Kuminga to form a high-powered trio with Curry and Butler? Or do you believe he still has the upside to become Golden State's next big star? Let us know in the comments, like the video, and subscribe, because the NBA's next big trade drama is just heating up.